Welcome back to the second hour of today's show. And joining us now from the great Pacific Northwest, in the land of the Seattle Seahawks, is our hard money guy, David Morgan. David, are you fired up about Sunday's game?
Pretty excited. We're chomping at the bit, so they can't get here fast enough.
Well, you know, the only problem with the Super Bowl is then we're all done until late August.
Yeah, well, I hate to say it because I am, not a big TV watcher, but football is something I really do enjoy. And I do have a little bit of withdrawal after the Super Bowl, I have to admit. Usually a couple Sundays it takes me to get over tuning in on a football game, but it subsides and away I go. And from that time till football starts again, I'm really not much in front of the TV.
I understand. I mean, baseball, I always preferred to play baseball, always preferred to watch football. And, I mean, I do enjoy March Madness. That's a fun little 2-week stretch there. But then after that, I'm done until football season starts back up.
Yeah, that's very similar to me.
So is the community all excited?
Yeah, it's, we're on the eastern side of the state, so, But it's Washington State. There's a lot of football fanatics over on the side of the state. There's a lot of the stores have got Seahawks hats and shirts and sweatshirts and jackets and all that kind of stuff. So stuff that you don't normally see in the stores are like all over the place right now for people to go ahead and purchase and get their colors on before the game.
Well, it's a wonderful distraction from the destruction of the currency. And I noticed that Christine Lagarde was the most recent central planner that's warning us about the devil known as deflation. I just scratch my head when I hear that.
Well, the problem with the situation at hand is multifaceted. And the true picture really is that there is somewhat of a deflationary scare going on because it's not a function of how much money's been printed, which we know is can't be counted. What we do know is that the turnover, the velocity of money is very, very low. So all this money has been going directly into the banking system and held in their vaults, which is a metaphor for holding it in a computer memory. And they have not loaned it out into the general circulation, because when you get it out in the general circulation, you have the multiplier effect due to fractional reserve banking. And so really this inflation has been sort of pent up, you might say. Not to say that the truth isn't much higher inflation. I mean, if you use John Williams' shadow stats and look at the real inflation rate, you're looking at probably around 9%. So certainly there's a lot more inflation in the system than is reported officially. Nonetheless, there is a lot of contraction as far as the everyday populace is concerned because the unemployment is so high, and people that have jobs are worried that they might get cut back or laid off or whatever. I mean, the retail market's suffering hugely. You've got J.C. dropping off 33 stores. Sears is shutting down their stalwart store in Chicago, and all of this recovery is like, show me, I don't see it, because there really isn't that much recovery going on, especially in the retail sector.
Well, one thing I have noticed is that by and large, the American public recognizes that we're still in recession. 79% think we're still in recession. And I think back in 07, late 07, August of 07, when we had a lot of people starting to feel like the economy was weakening, and yet the pundits and the professionals kept telling us, what are you worried about? Things are great. And then obviously the public was correct. And I think this time around it's the pundits who have it wrong. The American people know that we're still in recession.
Yeah, I agree. I think the general public is a lot smarter than the politicians give them credit for. Certainly, the common sense factor is probably greater again than most imagine. You don't have to look too hard to see what's really going on. And people aren't spending money. I mean, they're basically paying down their debt if they can, or holding on to what they have. And let's face it, there's a pervasive fear throughout the I'd say throughout the global populace, really. I mean, these governments are becoming more onerous. The spying thing, everything that's going on in the landscape right now is set up for a lot of control, and I think it manifests a lot of fear. A lot of people are afraid of the future, afraid of, a lot of things. And I think a lot of it is direct. I think part of the mainstream media's job is to put sort of this overcast, you might call it, on the populace that, things are not only the way we say they are, and not only do we have all the control, but here's the outlook. And the recovery thing, I think, is to try to get people to open up their wallets and get the consumer economy going. I mean, when you think about it, if the United States economy is 70% based on consumerism, I mean, that's like eating your seed corn. I mean, if you are a farmer and you're eating up 70% of your crop, and the next year you don't have a crop, and you got 30% left the following year as your savings, you're not going to make it through the year. And, the whole economy is based on, buying stuff. So there's lots of inconsistencies, there's lots of problems in the economy, generally speaking. And, of course, one of the main problems is the inability of the mainstream media to tell the American populace or any populace, because, globally, as far as I'm concerned, the truth. I think a lot of news media outside of the United States have a little bit better accuracy as far as what's going on, not only within the United States, but probably perhaps from a global perspective. But I don't think there's very many, if any, really truly objective news services. And that's why the alternative media like us is becoming more and more significant in the landscape, because anyone that has an internet connection can choose where they get their information.
David, I've noticed that some, not many, but some who have been bearish on the metals in light of the performance, particularly of the gold after that 1183 low, are now starting to change their tune and are starting to dip their toe back into the precious metals. Do you think that we've seen the bottom now for silver and gold, and it's time for these Johnny-come-latelys to start jumping back in?
Well, it's possible. I really have, and I'll be consistent. I think the bottom for silver is in, as we've talked many times. For gold, I think it's in, but I'm not sure. And, of course, I could be wrong on silver as well. I mean, gold over the last 30 days has gone from roughly 1,200 to 1,270, so we've had a pretty nice move in gold. And I know there's lots of pundits out there saying that we're going to see $1,000 gold, or, they have certain exact numbers. Again, it's possible. You usually get a pretty good rise in gold the first quarter of every new year. That's a pretty strong seasonality, although the seasonalities haven't been as significant in the last few years as they normally have been. I do think that the bottom is probably here. I am not of the ilk that this is going to drag on another 2 years, like some are saying. I think that either the bottom's in or we're very close, and that the year 2014 is going to be a rebuilding year, and we're going to get up into the probably 1550 level or higher. I'm forecasting up to $1,700 gold this year, and silver to get back up over the 26 level and probably into the 30s. But time will tell. I don't see much negative news to gold. There's all the news on gold and silver right now are pretty positive, meaning that the global financial system is continuing to deteriorate. And the gold situation is getting tighter and tighter. I mean, the physical reality versus the paper paradigm is widening. More and more people are waking up to the fact that something isn't right in the gold market. There is manipulation in the gold market. They can't deliver the gold to Germany. They can't deliver product to various entities that have demanded, physical gold. So this is starting to unravel. And is this the year that it's really going to take place or not? I don't know, but certainly I know we're closer than we were, say, a few years ago.
That key reversal in silver that you called a couple of months ago to maybe 2.5 months ago has held nicely.
It has, and as time marches forward, as long as it continues to be above that level, obviously that's the bottom. There's, again, people out there that think that, we're going to see lower silver prices, lower than that, and, again, we'll see. But the market knows more than anybody, manipulated or not. I think there's a Chinese put in the market. I think that the Chinese are willing to buy gold even at a higher rate than they already are, at the $1,200 level. You got to remember that people have market orders, or I should say limit orders in these markets. I mean, there's sitting open orders that are sitting there waiting at, you know, 1,200, 1,190, 1,180, 1,175, and on it goes. And these are people that are taking either a position or hedging or whatever they're doing, but these are orders that are yet to be executed. But there's a softening or a cushion or a barrier, if you will, at certain support levels for various reasons. But there's a lot of, you know, people that are in the gold market just from the jewelry aspect, the love trade. I mean, Frank Holmes spoke at the conference in Vancouver that I just returned from, and he talked about the fear trade and the love trade in gold. And I mean, gold's raised normally about 60% is, you know, wedding rings and jewelry for your loved ones and that type of thing. Only 40% of the gold market has to do with, you know, economic uncertainty. So the real trade in gold is the love trade, not the fear trade. And that continues no matter what, practically. I mean, people, you know, get married, people have loved ones, people buy jewelry for their, you know, various family members or friends or whatever. So there's a lot to the gold market that doesn't really get talked about. That's sort of an underlying demand, if you will.
We are speaking with David Morgan. I almost called you doctor again. The Morgan Report, MorganReport.com. David, it's always a pleasure. Good luck to your Seahawks.
Thank you.
Silver123.net is a silver saver program designed to be as simple as possible. For as little as $50 per month, you can set up and create an automatic cost average buying program that will get silver or gold sent to your door on a monthly basis. The first step to creating an account is easy. You will supply some basic information. Next, you will add a bank account from which you will schedule your purchases. Scheduling purchases makes saving easy. Silver Saver is customizable and allows you to control the amount and the date of purchase. Once you are signed up, you are then given your affiliate code. Now you can save in precious metals and also market this program. You can use email, web pages, and multiple forms of social media to share the Silver Saver program. Silver Saver will reward you generously with physical silver or gold whenever someone you refer becomes a saver. Silver Saver not only provides you with a share code, but also allows you to place your own banner ad on a website of your own. Silver Saver is one of the best ways to start saving and accumulating gold or silver, especially at these levels. Visit silver123.net and start saving today.